Alright, well in this video we're going to talk about forward markets for the currencies that have forward markets. Not all currencies do, smaller currencies don't, but major currencies would. So the pound has a forward market, and the forward market is just a market that gives you delivery at some point in the future. So you could buy the pound today and take delivery of it in 90 days. That's a common contract, 90 days. So for example, I got this data from the Wall Street Journal's website. The spot value of the pound on August the 5th was 1.3135. For delivery September of 2016, there is a date actually I didn't specify, 1.3136. December 2016, 1.3159. These are relatively small differences. March 2017 though, 1.34, so that's a substantial difference. And you can see actually for the pound, at least over this time period, we have the spot is the lowest. So comparing the spot to all these other time periods, we would say, since we're getting higher as we go out into the future, higher price of the pound, from this thing you can see that the pound is at a forward premium. That's the language we use because the forward exchange rates are higher than the spot. And then the alternative, of course, is the dollar is at a forward discount. And we usually express the forward premium or the discount as being the percentage difference between the future exchange rates and the spot. So if F is equal to the forward premium, which can be negative of course if it's a discount, if F is the forward premium, F is the forward exchange rate, small f is the forward exchange rate, that we'll just use simpler numbers for an example, and E is the spot rate. F is defined as F minus E, small f minus E, divided by E, and then multiplied by 100 to make it a percentage. So as an example, let's use simple numbers. Suppose that we've got two of these exchange rates. So we have a spot market where the dollar price of the pound is 1.20, and then we have a forward market, maybe it's a 90-day forward, and the dollar price of the pound in that market is 1.26. Then using this formula, the forward premium on the pound, of course 1.26 is bigger than 1.20, would be 1.26 minus 1.20 divided by 1.20 times 100, and I figure this one out. As you can probably imagine, it's not that hard. So this is 5%. So we would say the pound is at a 5% forward premium if this is for 90 days. So then the next question is why engage in forward transactions? And there are two main reasons. The first one is to hedge, and hedging means the avoidance of risk. That's why they're called hedge funds. Technically they're supposed to avoid risk. To hedge against exchange rate risk. So suppose that we are an American travel company and we want to take lots of people to London this summer and pay for lots of hotel rooms. We need £1 million. It's hard enough being a travel agent without also getting involved in currency speculation. So what we might do is, we know that we're going to need £1 million, say by the September, so we could actually enter into a forward transaction to buy the pounds, and we can take delivery on them in September. And you know, why not just buy the pounds now? Well, we probably don't have enough money because we haven't charged the tourists yet. And so the other thing about the forward markets is you just have to put a fraction or a percentage down of the value of the contract. Or if you were a really big player, you probably wouldn't even have to put anything down. So that's what you can do. You lock in a price, don't have to put any money down until your business is paid off. And so hedging is a very important component of the activities that go on in forward markets. It's not that we like the price, we just want to know with certainty what the price is. We've got other things to worry about. But then a lot of people involved in forward markets are actually speculating. And speculation means the deliberate taking on of risk. So we're not trying to avoid it, we're actually seeking it out, taking on risk to hopefully make a profit if we do it right. And if we're going to speculate in the forward market, we have to form a belief about what we think the future spot rate is going to be. So the future spot rate is the rate that will prevail, the spot rate on the day that the forward contract comes due. We don't know what that is. We'll have to wait and see when you take delivery on the forward contract. So the future spot rate is a rate that we don't know about. So that's the future spot rate. Let's suppose I develop a belief. I'm going to speculate. I believe that in September, or whenever this occurs, I don't think that the future spot rate is going to be 1.26. I actually think it's going to be 1.28. I believe that on the day the forward contract is payable, that the future spot will be 1.28. That's just my opinion. Or maybe I've got a complicated macro model I'm using. How could I make money using a forward contract? Well, I could buy the pound forward. I won't have to put much money down for 1.26, and then if I'm right and it really is 1.28 the day that the contract comes due, and then I could actually sell the pound in the future for 1.28 if I'm right. And so then I've made 2 cents per pound on the transaction. So this was a speculator who was right. If a different speculator had a belief that the pound was not going to be 1.26, was actually going to be 1.23 or 1.24, then that speculator would enter into a contract to sell the pound forward, planning to, am I doing this right? Yeah, planning to, lock in a price of 1.26, and then on the day when they have to provide the pounds to the person they've sold the pounds to, then they go into the market, the spot market, and they can pay, say, 1.23 or 1.24, and then they can immediately turn around and fulfill the forward contract and make a couple of cents on the pound that way. So speculation essentially is pretty common, but it involves forming a belief about future exchange rates, and it's a belief that essentially says you believe that the forward rates are not an accurate reflection of what the future exchange rate will be. And in actual fact, though, with so many people speculating in the market, and the market is sort of the collective wisdom of all the participants, in actual fact, you can look at forward markets and get just a rough idea of what people think is going to happen to a particular currency. So if I look at this real data for the British pound, where in March of 2017 the market has settled on 1.3410, on average, you can say that the market believes that the pound will strengthen between now and next March. Of course, the whole market could be wrong, but there's lots of people putting a lot of money into this, and so it's your best guess about what an exchange rate will actually be in the future. And so that's the forward markets. We calculated a forward premium or discount in percentage terms. We're going to use that later. And then also we've thought about hedging and speculating, which are the two activities that you will observe taking place using the forward market.